Hello and welcome. These are horse racing selections for Thursday, the 1st of June. I am Flat Cap Callum and I am hoping you are all very, very well. Alright, it's a bit of a late upload. I was out doing stuff on Wednesday night, so research late, video upload is late. I'm not going to apologise, it is what it is. I've got a life to lead. And it's not like I charged any money for this. I'm not on a clock, am I? So, I do my best to get the bets out in a timely fashion. And yeah, at time of upload, you've got, I don't know, 17 hours, I don't know, a lot of hours to get the bets on. The first race, not till 4:35, Roscommon I've got for Thursday. 7 horses, 5 races, and got some big old prices in there. So if nothing else, we will try and give the bookies a bit of a scare that we're onto some sort of big massive bet. We'll see, but equally what I would say, more than any bet I can remember kind of recently, this is definitely a day I'm looking at it thinking, yeah, there's big prices, you could win all right on this. Likewise, you could just lose your £15 very, very easily. So I could easily see, as much as I'm happy with the horses I've got, the 7 horses, I could absolutely imagine all 7 could finish out the places too, because there's some risky old ones in there. So we will try our luck. I'm going to try and carry on doing the video because I've got the sniffles. I've already had to try and I've recorded it once and then I just got the sniffles. I think it's just late and I'm tired and I need to go to bed, to be fair. But Thursday night is my night off from doing videos, so I'll be out having a run on Thursday night and then I'll be back Friday morning. So run on Thursday night and an early night, that's probably what I need because, yes, I have got to be up in a few hours. Anywho, we'll go through the review of Wednesday. There was a couple of other topics I was going to talk about, but I might be too tired when I get to it, so we'll see. So we'll just do the Wednesday review. We'll do the Thursday bets, and if I get to some topics afterwards, I might do. But I don't want this to be a long video for anyone's sake. So, how did we get on Wednesday, first day of this channel week? We did make a little profit. A lot of other people have done a lot better than the channel, which is perfectly fine with, because unlike a lot of tipsters or channels or things you'll see that look similar to what I'm doing, I'm not worried about trying to have the best possible statistics to try and outdo anyone. I'm really cool if everyone else has better statistics than I do. So yeah, I'm perfectly fine with that. So we had Golden Prosperity. It ran a decent race. Bunch finished just 4th, which paid out for most bookmakers, but not all. 22s was the SP. The channel had 18 to 1 and a 15p rule 4. So I'm really surprised that one went bigger. Just before the off, I think you got about 28s on that. But yeah, so it placed nicely. Ran a decent race from a difficult draw. Then we went into 3 o'clock Newton Abbot. Carnage in that race. There was horses falling, pulling up. I said that was 4th best. Well, it did finish 4th, a very, very distant 4th, which was no good for the channel. But I did say to people that the 365 extra market would be worth a go on that one, and I know a bunch of people did do it. So when that did open, you could have got 40 to 1 on 4 places on the single. So I know some people did that. Makes no odds to the channel from a stats point of view because it's a loser. But yeah, I was happy with that one. And then the 310 Beverley, you don't see that very often on my selections. It drifted all the way out to 22 to 1, which made no sense to me. So I didn't think necessarily it was a shortener. I thought it'd probably go off about a similar price, maybe get up to about 10s or 11s. That would be a possibility. But no way did I see that going to 22 to 1. Sometimes, you think the betting market and you just get caught out. So, yeah, I said yesterday on the video I'd back that horse at 11 to 2, and it went and won. It was a nice, kind of a bit of a head bobby finish, but got up on the line at 22 to 1. Just don't understand how it managed to get to that price, to be fair, but there we go. So if you were on SP, you'd got 22s and 22s, which is much better than 18s with a 15p rule 4 and a 17 to 2 shot. Also, if it had been 22s when I was doing this blinking video the night before, I would have put a single on it, but 17 to 2 I wasn't so worried about. Anywho, I know a bunch of you did see that drift, and I've said it a number of times on the channel, and I know regulars get this. When horses drift, it's not as bad as what people think. Sometimes it is a tell that there's something wrong with the horse and it's not running. But I've said it lots of times. When they drift, you don't need to worry so much as what you might think, particularly in the UK. So UK and Ireland markets are a little bit different. I less worry about a drifter in the UK market because often drifters aren't just there's something wrong with the horse. It's something else or a couple of other things people are putting their money down on, and therefore bookmakers have got to kind of push something else out. And if it's not been popular, then they'll push it out bigger than it needs to be because they're more concerned about another horse. And sometimes what happens is things like cliff cake happen where actually the horse was well handicapped, in terms of certainly what I thought anyway, and it clearly was good enough to win the race, but was overlooked because of younger horses. So that was that. And then let's get on to what we're going to do. So risky but big price. So there's a health warning definitely on these Thursday bets. As I said, we could very easily, more than most days, just lose the lot. And I was going to do a £10 staking plan. And then given the size of the odds, and I have got a couple of horses in a couple of races, I was like, do you know what? Let's just give it a little bit of a nudge up, and we'll do a £15 stake. So it's 3/4 stake day. So bet one, main bet really, I'd say, is this, and this will make a few people laugh, smile, sweat. I don't know. So the 4.35 Roscommon. Sky R4, no one else is, which is a bit annoying because I really like Darkened at 50s. I think that's a very generous price for that horse. I've also got another horse in that race. What you've got in that Roscommon race is you've got the thing we've talked about recently where you've got a handicap and you've got 3-year-olds, so younger horses, in with the older horses. And what happens is the market artificially pushes the older horses' price up because the younger horses are perceived to be ones with more potential. Often is the case, but not always. And so if you've got a horse that might be lurking a bit about a handicap mark, like I think Darkened is, you've got an artificially ridiculously big price. I think that horse should be more like 14, 16 to 1. So there's a lot of value in that price. I don't know what it's going to do from a market point of view. It's a bit of a funny one, that one. Sometimes it goes in, sometimes it doesn't go in. I don't think it will stay at 50 to 1, but we'll see. So basically in that 4.30 Roscommon, I've got the 2 7-year-olds to take on the 3-year-olds. I think there's 2 8-year-olds, don't like those, but the 7-year-olds I do like. So yeah, it doesn't run on the flat all the time, and I think that Darkened, they'll be getting it ready for Galway. If you look last year, it ran 3 times at the Galway Festival. So Galway Festival comes towards the end of July. It's a versatile horse. It goes over jumps and it goes over flat. But I think today's, I think it's 1.5 miles on decent ground. The question mark is around Roscommon. Not every horse likes Roscommon, and that one's I can't off the top of my head I can't remember this even run at Roscommon. But they're getting it ready for Galway, but doesn't mean with this one that it means it runs a duff race until it gets to Galway. They're getting it fit, and therefore it will probably improve for its last run. So Darkened start leg, 4.55 Fairyhouse. That one I got 2 in there. Very risky indeed. In that they both need to bounce back from some terrible runs. So I've got 2 risky big prices, and the reason I've gone for them, particularly on the bigger end of the market, is when I've looked at the shorter end of the market, I wasn't convinced about anything. I don't think there's anything crying out to say this should be the favourite or this is the best looking horse. And I think it's a race that's leaving itself open. It's apprentice handicap, leaving itself open for some big prices to do a bit of a bounce. So there's a few in the bottom end of that market where you could argue a case of on back form they could suddenly spring up. So Group 1 power is my slight preference for those, but risky. We're then going the 7.35 Fairyhouse, and this horse is in the both lucky 15s. It's one of them days, 7 horses, 2 lucky 15s, 1 horse is in both, and El Maga is my horse for both. I've got 1 horse in that 7.35 Fairyhouse. that is I really like the chances in that race on the respect of you've got a bunch of horses out the handicap, so they've got to kind of do something they haven't done before, really, in terms of they are carrying more weight relative to the rest of their competitors. Doesn't mean they're necessarily carrying more weight physically because it's a handicap. With El Maga, that's got back form to say that's really well handicapped, and it's not out the handicap. So he's considering almost half the field, if you actually look down, are carrying more weight than they should be. The fact that El Maga's lurking in there, which is not got carrying more weight, what El Maga's doing is lurking there because the last few runs have been absolutely atrocious. No decent form. If you go back further than that and you go 6 furlongs good ground, that horse absolutely has got potential from that mark. So I think those are the right conditions, but there's a big question mark about how it is. The trainer Tom McGuinness, I follow his horses, and most of them run like absolute donkeys. And I mean, when I mean donkeys, I mean last by a long way last. But every now and again, and we had a couple on last year, this time of year they can pop up. So yeah, El Maga's my absolute punt of the day to put in both lucky 15s, even though it's got no recent form to say it's in any way great shape. So there we go. How's that for a sell? And then we go 805. I've only got one in that one. Talking Tough. I think that one's handicapped to do well, but again needs to bounce back. So you can see a bit of a theme here. So we've got a 20p each way lucky 15. 50p each way single on Talking Tough. It's the last horse of the 7, so that's our kind of saver bet on that one. Sky Our Best, everyone else is much of a muchness. So Sky 4, everyone 3, and then these Fairyhouse ones, Sky are 6 on all of them, everybody else is 5 on all of them, bar a couple of odd bookies. So make sure you're getting 5 at least if you're not with Sky. What I would flag with our Maga, most bookies at the time of making this video are 66s with El Maga. So that is my outrageous bet 1. And then bet 2, we've got In Favour, my second choice in that 435 Roscommon. That one looks like it could be coming to hand a little bit. And again, it's just artificially big because it's 7 against 3-year-olds. 455 Fairyhouse, my other risky one for that one is Big Kitten at 40s. We've got El Maga in the 735 again, and then I've got one non-Irish horse in all of those UK meetings. The only horse I'm backing in the UK for Thursday, the 755 Carlisle Grand Canal 11s. 12s in places, don't go bet 365 when they're offering 8s at the time of making this video. So Grand Canal 11 to 1, the only UK horse. 20p each way lucky 15, and the same thing, you've got 4 there, everyone else is free. 6, everybody's 2 on that one, so it's £6 you bet, 20p each way lucky 15. And so originally I was going to do them slightly smaller stake lucky 15s and leave it like that. I've upped them up to a normal stake, and then I've added in the combination double, which I wasn't going to do. And the reason I wasn't going to do it was because those are both risky anyway. And normally if I do a combination double, I like a more of a solid option with a risky one. And I normally would try and avoid a race like that where Sky are 4, everybody's 3, because it does reduce your chances of getting both in the frame, as let alone getting one in the frame. So yeah, we will see. It's a risky one, but I felt given the prices of the horses, it's a risk versus reward. There's a decent reward here for hitting even 2 places. So we've got 435 Roscommon darkened, 50s In Favour at 20s, going on to 455 Fairyhouse Group 1 Power 33s, Big Kitten 40s. That's 4 times 25p each way doubles, £2 is your bet. Sky Our Best. If that goes down, that's the first 2 legs in both lucky 15s. So then if this bet goes down, they're down 2, and that means we're on to El Maga, and that's El Maga onto the last 2 horses, which are both in different bets in different races. And if those go down, we're down to Talking Tough single. That's the staking plan for tomorrow, so nothing till 4:35. All right, I am going to leave it there, and I'm going to come back Friday morning, less tired and early, and see what we can find for Friday. But it's going to be the same again in terms of pick and choosing your battles. Not big field sizes. Ground looks still good to firm in most places. So I'm not expecting volume on Friday. And Saturday, I won't know yet until I have a look and see what the declarations look like. But I think, given how the rest of the last couple of weeks have gone and how the weather's looking, I don't think it's going to be a busy day on Saturday, but a bit early to tell. All right, have a good day, whatever you were doing on Thursday, and I'll see you Friday morning. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.